Welcome back to part 2 of this two-part video on empathy. If you have not yet watched part 1, I encourage you to view that and then come and see this, because this is a continuation from part 1. If the means to empathy is understanding, if the means to empathy is understanding, if understanding is the thing that activates your empathy, which then leads to the outcome of abundance for you, then the tool with which you can understand is listening. To empathize with somebody, you must first understand them. And to understand that person, you need to listen to them. It's important to get good at listening. Empathy is all but impossible without becoming a good listener. Poor listening produces incomplete understanding. And incomplete understanding breeds apathy, indifference, casualness, unconcern, aloofness, dispassion, disregard, insensitivity, hard-heartedness, and condescension, all of which is akin to a lack of empathy. So to empathize, you need to understand, and to understand, you must first listen. And you must strive to get good at listening. Here, in this section, let's examine the nuances of active listening. Let's learn to use a tool for better listening that's called the 3 magic words. And then let's go beyond active listening and into proactive listening. And finally, we'll talk about emotional intelligence. Well, actually, we'll say something about what lies even beyond emotional intelligence. Okay, let's get on with it. Now, much has been said about the art of listening in scores of books and hundreds of videos. Information on listening skills is readily available and pretty much ubiquitous. Here's a simple way to remember to listen. L-I-S-T-E-N. L-I-S-T-E-N. L, look at them. Look at the person who is talking to you. I, inquire with respect and curiosity. Ask questions. Inquire with respect and curiosity. S, summarize. Summarize as you go through the conversation. T, take note or take notes. E, encourage them to speak. Lean forward and nod. N, neutralize your judgments. Put your biases aside and listen objectively. L-I-S-T-E-N. All of this represents, L-I-S-T-E-N, all of this represents what is commonly known as active listening. And to listen well, you must first be an active listener. Okay, that's active listening. Let's move forward. Would you like a listening tool? A listening tool, something that's easy to use, and when you use it, it causes the other person to open up to you. Are you interested? Here is the listening tool, and the tool is 3 magic words. 3 magic words, and the 3 magic words are: tell me more. Tell me more. So the next time you're with someone who wishes to talk to you and you are listening to them, actively listening to them, and it seems that they are a bit reserved or reticent to open up, then lean forward, blink, look into their eyes, and in a soft tone of voice say, "Tell me more." and then shut up and let them speak to you. Use these 3 magic words. Tell me more. Use these 3 magic words, tell me more, to kindle their expression and to amplify their articulation. Tell me more. Tell me more. Okay, there is more. When you listen actively, it's important to refrain from interrupting them. Of course, there are exceptions, and for the most part, when they are speaking, it pays you rich dividends to abstain from interjection. Give them space. Provide them with an environment of psychological safety. Put hierarchy aside. Very important is this. Release your need to control the person or fix their situation. Let me say that again. Release your need to control the person or fix their situation. And this will cause them to speak, and when they speak the truth they will. The hardest part of listening is to listen with neutrality, to deliberately put your biases, your preconceived notions, and your prejudices aside. Be cautious, because we humans tend to have a disdain towards those who are different than us. Our beliefs endow us with notions of what is right and what is wrong, what is success and what is failure, what represents joy and what denotes sorrow. We live by a set of rules that define for us what is good and what is evil. And along the way, we encounter others who operate from completely different paradigms, who have a divergent point of view, who perceive right and wrong very differently than us. True empathy requires a level of awareness where we consciously, let me say that again. True empathy requires a level of empathy where we consciously elevate ourselves beyond our personal preferences and then serve others without bias. This is real empathy. And when you listen with this kind of inclusive attitude, you are now engaging in empathetic active listening. Empathetic active listening. In this state, you are holding space for them. You are holding space for them. Be a thermostat and not a thermometer. A thermometer reacts to the environment. A thermostat regulates the environment. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Be a thermostat. You set the temperature at a cool 25 degrees Celsius or 77 Fahrenheit. And then they will ease up. They will relax, they will feel safe and speak their mind. Well, actually, they will speak their heart. This is active listening. All of this, L-I-S-T-E-N, tell me more. Remember that, the 3 magic words. Putting biases and judgments aside, providing a safe space for them. Being a thermostat. All of this is active listening. And then there's more. An evolved person will take this principle even further. They will take this even further. He or she will actively listen, of course, and will also proactively listen. Proactive listening is having the sensitivity and the sensibility to realize that there is a person in your environment that needs to be listened to. Just because they don't approach you with their problem, it doesn't mean that they don't have one. Many people just don't come forward with their issue or challenge for fear of being judged. Your initiative to initiate a conversation with them is what makes you a proactive listener. a proactive listener. Use your keen sense of observation to discern who in your environment needs to be listened to. Proactively reach out to them, offer them a space for communication, preemptively provide them a space for energy release. This demonstration of thoughtfulness is also called kindness. So become a proactive listener. Another dimension of proactive listening is to read between the lines, to listen between the words when they speak. To listen for meaning and not just the substance of the words that they are using. See the big picture. Ask yourself, what's really going on here? What are they trying to communicate to me? All right? So that's active listening and proactive listening. And in closing, let me summarize the key points for this section on listening. Let me do that by alluding to emotional intelligence. You most likely have heard of EI or emotional intelligence, right? You most likely have. I'm sure you have. When you engage in active listening, when you use the 3 magic words, tell me more, when you be a thermostat by providing them psychological safety and holding space for them, when you become a proactive listener by anticipating their needs, you transcend from EI or emotional intelligence to AI or angel intelligence. AI, angel intelligence. Happy listening. Alright, here's a quick recap, right? Earlier we spoke about the correlation between causes and effects. We said that the mother of all good causes, the instigation that leads to desired outcomes, that is empathy. We discerned that empathy is sensitivity towards others. Then we said that for empathy to be activated, we must develop understanding. Yeah, remember that? We must develop the faculty of understanding. And understanding is attained with the application of active and proactive listening. And here we are doing all of this because why are we doing all of this in the first place? Because doing this, being empathetic, is an expression of your true nature. Being empathetic is an expression of your true nature. And what is your true nature? Our true nature is to serve, to help, to contribute, to share, to give. This is who we truly are. And why is our true nature to give? Because our higher consciousness, our super conscious mind, this inner spirit in us, is innately abundant and seeks to share its abundance plentifully. When we are in a resourceful state, and which is how we are meant to be, we cannot help ourselves. We will want to add value to others. We will want to add value to others. In a state of calm, appreciation, and elation, we intuitively cognize that service to others is the same as service to ourselves. That cause and effect relationship becomes a knowing of sorts. The tools mentioned in these videos, these 2 videos on empathy, the tools mentioned in these 2 videos helps you to evoke your native sense of altruism, to provoke your natural proclivity towards philanthropy. And you do have that natural proclivity. Quite simply put, empathy is a form of energy philanthropy. when you are giving via the means of empathy, give because it is the most natural thing in the world to do. Now I will be boldly prescient and say this. I'm going to make a prediction now. Call this Arjun's prophecy, if you will. Alright? Companies, organizations, institutions, enterprises, and even governments that put people before profits will thrive, and those that don't will struggle to even survive. And you are going to see this played out at an ever-increasing pace, particularly between the years of 2020 and 2025, and of course well beyond that too. And yes, you are welcome to treat this comment as a prediction of sorts from me, okay? Alright, here are the three principles. Here are the three principles with regard to giving. Three principles with regard to giving. Principle number one. When you give, feel neither pleasure nor pain. Feel neither pleasure nor pain when giving. Giving must not come from a place of mindfulness, rather it must come from a place of beingness. Please let me explain. In its original form, giving is meant to be as natural as breathing. When we breathe, we don't consciously think about it, do we? When we breathe, we don't consciously think about it or give ourselves credit for breathing, or tell others that we are breathing, or brag about breathing on the internet. No, we just breathe. That's all. No stories required, no comments are necessary, no adverts, no likes, and no limelight. And yet, without making any hoo-ha about it, we just breathe all the time. Similarly, the real spirit of giving does not require us to build optics around our acts of giving. Narratives are not required. Commentary is not needed. Attention is unnecessary. And yet, just like breathing, it is so natural to be in the mood of giving all the time. Okay, that's principle number one. Let giving be routine, prosaic, and very matter of fact. There is no need to draw attention to your acts of giving. Now here's some wisdom from the Tao philosophy of ancient China. The Tao philosophy, T-A-O, the Tao philosophy of ancient China. Whenever you give, stay obscure, stay below the radar, stay muted, stay behind the scenes. Behave like the ocean. Stay low and be humble. And as you seek to be humble and close to the earth, just like the ocean, and grounded just like the ocean, then just like the ocean, all the rivers and streams will flow into you. By staying modest, prosperity will flow into your life. And prosperity will flow into your life in never-ending abundance. That's all about principle number one. Alright, let's move to principle number two. Principle number two, use the three magic words of giving. Now these are the three magic words of giving, alright? Not the three magic words of listening that you heard about earlier, okay? The three magic words of giving. And the three magic words of giving are, I'm with you. I'm with you. Say it. Just say it. Summon the courage to say these three magic words. I'm with you. These three magic words are your inner spirit in action. That's what these three words are. Say it with love. Say it with passion and say it with compassion. I'm with you. look at them and say, I'm with you. Feel it when you say it. Look at them when you say it. Look within them when you say it. My mentor, Basil, taught me a long time ago, many years ago. He said, Arjun, rather than ask for a miracle in your life, be a miracle in someone else's life. So give. Principle number 1. Give without drawing any attention to you. And principle number 2, dare to say the 3 magic words, I'm with you. When you give in this manner, per the law of cause and effect, the boomerang of good effects is going to come back to you. And here's the final principle. Principle number 3 on giving is this. When you give, seek to make the other person independent of you and not dependent on you. Look for ways to equip, to empower, to enable, to embolden. Perhaps in some cases you need to provide plenty of assistance to them in the beginning, and that's fine. Eventually though, it is necessary to step back and allow them to take charge of their own destiny. The best gift you can give someone is the gift of self-reliance. Give the gift of self-reliance. Give in a manner that they ultimately become autonomous and self-sufficient. Beware of your ego. Beware of your ego need that others should need you or continue to be dependent on you. Be careful of this. It's a trap. When you foster dependence, it's harmful to them and unhealthy for you. Over time, and in a sensitive and supportive manner, you must enable them to lean on you less and less, until eventually they themselves will realize that leaning on others is unnecessary. If you've liked the ideas on this video, then go ahead and ask me to share with you an empathy instrument. Ask me to share with you an empathy instrument. This is a tool that will allow you to practice empathy. This tool is called the kindness game. It's called the kindness game. That's right, the kindness game. You can use this tool to explore aspects of your own compassion and also to evoke kindness in others. So shoot me an email at arjun@stepupuae.com and I'll have the tool out to you. Be well and see you soon.